Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
How are you doing? Okay, let's start this Twitch session. Let me share what we have here prepared. Okay. So, good afternoon. This is the Twitch session for the Mobile Boilerplate. My name is Axel Taylor. I'm a mobile software engineer here at ERNI, and my colleague, Robert.
Thank you. My name is Robert, and I am a .NET backend developer.
Okay, so what are we going to see today? Let's check the agenda here. So first of all, we are going to look which projects we have, the repositories in the GitHub. Then Robert is going to explain to you which are the features that we have implemented in each of the repositories. There are some features that are on all of them and some features that are not, but more or less all the repositories are the same. Then we are going to have a brief view on the automated testing framework. This is another open source repository that we have here at ERNI. After that, we have live demos for each of the projects. Then I will show you how to collaborate with us. And last but not least, a question and answer session. So let's go to it. The overview. So here you have all the information to access the repository. We have the main repository, that's the starter kit mobile application. Then in the repository you are going to find sub-repositories, one for .NET MAUI, another for React Native, one for Flutter. The Flutter one is made by our colleagues in Philippines, then the Xamarin one, and the Ionic framework. The React Native one is a work in progress, so we are going to have a sneak peek, but not the complete picture because it's an in progress repository. But the others more or less are full feature flag. So yeah, we are going to see them. Let me share quickly my screen to show you how the repository looks like. We have in ERNI Academy / starter kit mobile application, the full or the main repo. Here we have all the documentation for each of the platforms, but the good thing is this folder. Here we can see or we can have a link to each of the repositories. The React Native one is currently private, but the idea is to open up this repository to everyone for the next following days or at least next month. But anyway, that's the main repo. Here you have all the links to the other repositories. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation. And now, if this works, Robert is going to explain to you all the features that we can find in the repositories.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Axel. So basically what we are going to find there is that all our repos have the multi-language implemented. It's pretty easy to add new languages, to choose them with our UIs, and you will see that it's pretty easy to use. We also have some common patterns. Of course, each pattern here is applied to the specific technology, but we have some MVVM approach, Flux, MVC, factories, repositories, and all this stuff. We also have some base styling. We'll show you later. Also, we have some nice icons. We have integrated FontAwesome, feather icons, and unique icons. Of course, this is only possible on some technologies, but we'll show you how to do this. And for MAUI and Xamarin for the moment, we are also integrated with the automation testing framework. This is a pretty powerful tool that we have here in ERNI. Yeah, thank you, Axel. So basically, in order to use this tool, which was presented last week by our colleagues here who developed this tool, the only thing that you need to do is, so you have here the link to our repository. You just need to add it as a Kitsu module on your project, and then we are going to just use for this specific scenarios, we are going to use the WinApp app driver and the Appium functionalities, as we are going to automate only. So we want to perform end-to-end testing for Windows and Android in this case. So now we want to go to the repo, to the codes. I'm going to be the responsible, let's say, to present you .NET MAUI and Xamarin, and then I'll pass the ball to Axel, who's going to present Ionic and React Native. So let's go to the repo. Let's start with MAUI. We have here, so you can see that we are on the main MAUI repo, and the good thing about MAUI is that we just need to have one CS project that is containing all the platforms. So in one single CS project, we are going to have all the platforms implemented. In this case, when I'm talking about all the platforms, I'm talking about Android, Windows, Mac, and iOS. So let's navigate a bit here on the repo, so I'll show you some interesting stuff. So if we come here, you're going to see that you have quite some folders, but I would say that the most interesting one is the platforms one. This is created by default, so if you want to develop something new on MAUI, the framework already gives this to you. So if we navigate to platforms, we can see that we have the Android, the Mac Catalyst, Windows and iOS folders, which again are created automatically. And if we go inside them, we see that we have all the things needed to start the application in each of the platforms. So again, this is just created automatically, but the good thing that we have here and that we have implemented is this services folder. So what we are doing here is just creating specific implementations of different services for each of the platforms. So in this case, for example, I'm going to show you a really simple configuration file provider, which is reading the app settings JSON, but this is specific for Android, as you see. So again, if I navigate to another platform, so you see that we have the same structure, so services configuration, and inside this we would have the implementation, in this case for Windows. So we could replicate this easily, and then we just need to adapt to each platform. If we go back to the main page, or the project page, let's say, another interesting thing that we have here is the resources. As you can see here, we have a lot some languages here. To create a new language or to integrate a new language is pretty easy. You just need to create a new resource file, of course, fulfill it with the translations that you want, and then just add the option, let's say, on the view that is creating or is decide, let's say, the view that contains the combo box, which allows you to select the language. So pretty easy to implement. Again, this is shared for all the platforms, so no need to have duplicated code or similar. Here, some other stuff that we have implemented is the FontAwesome icons. So you can see here that we have added them. And last but not least, so you can see that you have the majority of the images on SVG. Again, this makes things much more easier. Well, here we have a PNG, but the majority of them are SVG. As I mentioned before, you can see here that we have models, view models, and views. So we are implementing the MVVM model here. And I would say that more or less this is all regarding the MAUI project. But one last thing that I would like to share is that you can see here that we have the test. This is the integration that we have done with the automation framework that I mentioned before. So this is again pretty powerful. So the only thing that you need to do is add some references. This is everything is documented on the automation page, so I'm not going to go deeper here, but it's as easy as add it as submodule, and then you can start creating features. So for example, here I have some Android features or Windows feature. Just to show you, this is the .NET automation testware. So again, here, this is everything explained on how to use it or integrate it. Now I would like to go a bit on a little demo. So basically here you can see, of course, the code that you have on the repo, just one single project, no multiple projects or platforms with all the specifications for each platform. And if we execute it, take into account that this is taking too long because we have multiple instances of Visual Studio and some other software here. So, but basically you can see that we have a main page, we have a browse here, we have a language, we can change the language, so now we are on English, we can change it to Spanish, and it says idioma cambiado, so everything looks good. You can see also here that there are some issues open, but this is not about the implementation itself, but about MAUI. So we are tracking them on GitHub. So yeah, this is something that we need to, let's say, solve when it's possible. And here we have a dynamic list, so I can add whatever I want, and you see here this new item on the list. So that would be all, more or less, regarding MAUI. So if we go back to the main repo, we go back here, I would like to show you the main differences with Xamarin. The first thing that it's, so you can see here that we are also integrated with the automation framework, but it's more or less the same that I mentioned before, so I'm not going to repeat it. But basically the main thing that we should see here is that we have different projects, so different projects for each platform. So of course this makes things a bit difficult in terms of maintainability and all this stuff. I think that if I'm not wrong, Xamarin has support until 2024, so sometime to adapt to MAUI yet. Here we have the resources for each of the platforms, and one important thing that we have here is that you will see that we have some common projects. So we have the resources project and the mobile project, which contains cross-platform, let's say, stuff which we are using on all the platforms. Another important difference that we have here is that we are not implementing this for Mac Catalyst, which is given by default for MAUI. And yeah, we have here more or less the same things that we showed before. So we have the FontAwesome icons, and here we should have the languages, same as before. So pretty easy to add new languages also here. You just need to create a new resource file and modify a bit the UI to add the new option on the UI, and that will be all. So I think more or less this is all regarding Xamarin. What I will do now is I'll show you. So here you can see that we have the MAUI solution open, and now I'm going to show it in Android, for example. We have the emulator Pixel 6 Pro correctly configured, so in a while we should have it.
This is the React
Yeah.
demo, so let's wait. It's still deploying.
Yeah, it's here. As I said before, it takes a while.
So in a normal scenario, this should be faster,
Yeah.
right? But right now we have, as Robert said, multiple Visual Studio and Visual Studio codes, and also the OBS and everything in one computer. So that's why it's crazy slower, but it should be, in theory, faster in a normal environment. Let's wait a few more seconds, probably. Try to close it.
Yeah.
Maybe. Check it. Okay.
Can't?
I think it's deploying right now.
Okay.
I wanted to say a joke here regarding Visual Studio, but maybe I'm not going to do so. You can close?
No.
No? Okay.
Oh yes,
Oh, okay.
I can.
Now you can. So maybe it's a good idea to close everything
Yeah.
to free up some memory.
You
And
see?
now it goes faster. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Good. So you are going to see that basically we have the same structure that we have for Windows. So we can navigate through shell navigation and change the language and all this stuff. Okay, here we are. So you can see the FontAwesome icons, which are this one here. We can browse. Yeah. So we could do the same at items or whatever we want, and of course we can change the language. So same as before. So that's it. Now I pass the ball to Axel, who is going to show you the Ionic and the React Native.
Okay, so thank you, Robert. Let's go back to the repositories, to the main one, for example. Okay, we'll close the other two just to free up more space in the memory. What else? So let's start with the Ionic one. It's the one that it's complete. It has all the features that Robert was showing you with the Xamarin and Maui project. What we can find here is, let's go to, first of all, to the package.json file. It opens. Okay. So we can see that this is a pretty standard Angular / Ionic / capacitor application. We don't have any fancy stuff here. The translations or the internationalization is made with Transloco. What else? We are doing Karma, unit testing using Karma. So pretty standard Angular / Ionic / capacitor application. Okay, let's go back. Now we can see that here in a Ionic application we have the Android folder. It's where our native code is going to live. The iOS folder and the source folder. The iOS is the same as an Android. All native stuff goes there. But in the source files, in the source folder, we are going to find what our application is built up from. Yeah, so as you already know, or maybe not, but Ionic is a multi-platform framework to build up applications using standard web technologies, in this case Angular. So the core application is going to be in Angular in this case. We are using TypeScript, because it's a base version of Angular, so TypeScript it is. For the architecture of the application, as well, we are going with the pretty standard architecture, where we have folders for each of the features. Then we have the share folder, some routing, modules. As you can see, all is a standard application. We are not reinventing the wheel here. Okay, so for example, let's go to the About page. Here in the About page, we are going to see the same routing for the About pages, some components. We really like to, split big components into small ones, so that's why we have like the About page and then About content, that it's what is inside the page, and what else. And we can find the same thing on the other features like browse. Yes, we have the list, we have the items, whatever. So one thing that it's a good one or a funny one is that we are using the share folder with services. This is like a standard thing to do in Angular, but we are adding these service bindings. What does it mean is that we have like a standard interface for this, in this case is the storage service. So we have like a standard storage interface to access information, and we have the implementation here, and that it's depending on what you select. In this case, we have the implementation for in-memory storage that is going to use in memory, like a variable, constant, whatever, and the local storage that is the browser-based storage. For the demo, I think that in-memory storage is the one selected by default. Okay, then for the let me go to the initial page. Okay, here. So for the languages, we're using Transloco. Transloco, it's based on JSON files. They are placed here in assets, i18n, and then here we go. We have these JSON files. Okay, pretty standard ones. So if you wanted to add a new language file, we just copy the English one, translate it to whatever language we want, change the code here, and then go to the UI, add the option in the drop down, and we have a service that is going to handle all these changes. So everything is already sorted out. What else? Images, of course, are here. We only have one, that is the ERNI logo, but you can add any one you want. Icon. Here it's only the 5 icons, so nothing fancy. Well, about the icons for the application that we are using, since this is an Ionic application, we are using the Ion icons. So they come by default, you don't need to install anything extra, and everything in theory should work out. Let's do a quick run here. Okay. Since this is an Ionic project with Capacitator, the steps to run the application is first you build the application, then you sync all the files with the native implementations, and then you run each platform individually. Yeah, we already did the build and the sync, because if not, we were going to be all the afternoon here. But let's go directly with the npx cap. This is standard Capacitator stuff. I'm not reinventing wheels. And then open, in this case, and we are going to showcase the Android demo. So npx cap open Android is going to open Android Studio, and from there we can execute the application if everything is okay. As we can see here, Radal is not running, so everything should be okay. Let's run the application in the simulator. We are using the same simulator. Hopefully it goes a little bit quicker this time, or faster. Okay, it is. Later on, we are going to talk about missing things that this repo has. For example, one of them is the splash screen. As you can see here, it's a standard one. Maybe we need to add like a custom one, but this topic is going to be, whoops. Okay, now this topic is going to be covered later on. So we have already started our application, the same as the MAUI and Xamarin one. We have about, browse, okay, language, and all the tabs are checked out. In the browse, we are not loading by default a list, but we can add items. That's why you don't see anything here. For example, my title, and here in the description, okay. Let's add item, let's add another one, just to go with a complete example. Second item, and also description, of course. We are very original here. What else? One of the things that I can do here in the browse that is already implemented is the remove stuff. So I can remove one of them. That's it. It checks out all the features. Also in the language, if I change the language to the another one, as you, I don't know if you remember, but here we said that we had 2 JSON files already implemented, the English and the Spanish, so that's why we are only seeing 2 up here. I will change it to the Spanish one, and automatically it displays the application in Spanish, in Español. Okay, so that will be the Ionic starter kit. Now I will go back. Let me, whoops, okay, again. Let me minimize this one. Closed. No, not closed. Okay, now I need to go back and back and back. Right? Okay. Let me open it again because I have. Now we are at the entry point of all the repositories. We have seen the Ionic one, so let's go with the React Native one. The React Native one, right now it's closed, so you were probably not going to see it, but in the next month or so, or next weeks, we are going to publish it when it's finished. Okay, as you can see here, right now the repository doesn't have a README file updated. Everything is like not pretty, but we are working on it. What you can see here is that if we go to the package JSON file, okay, we have a standard React application, React Native application, sorry, not an Expo one. This means that we don't need to eject or, you know, to go with this more browser-friendly framework. This is just React Native with customization regarding styles. For example, we are using Tailwind with the Tailwind React Native package. We also using React Native Feather. These are the icons, Feather icons, the implementation from React Native. Also, we have the Redux toolkit installed as a dependency, but currently we don't have Redux in our application. The idea is to use Redux, of course, that's why this dependency is here. Also, we are using React Navigation with button tags, native and native stack. And I think that's it. For the testing side, right now we are not using the React testing library, but we will implement it probably. Right now it's just with the default jest frame. Okay, let's go back to the files. So I will be very faster here because, as I said, the application is in work in progress, so we don't have a lot to show you, but the I will say the funny stuff or the good stuff is that we are using this app navigator. The app navigator is building a native stack that then this native stack renders a tab page. This tab page also here we can see that has a navigator. So we are building up different navigators in order to have like the complete tree of navigations in our application. This is more or less what the Ionic application is doing with all the routings. So we are doing the same. Okay. What else? I can show you here the components. It's pretty standard React components. Here we don't have anything fancy, just React functional components. We are not doing the class components anymore, or at least for this project. So we are doing everything functional. Okay, so now let me try to open up the demo. probably just change the screen, go back to the terminal. Here at the terminal, we have the React Native in the React Native directory. One of the commands that we have in the package.json is Npm Run Android. What is going to do this command is build up the application for Android, start one thing that is called Metro, that it's doing some updates in the background so you can live reload your application, native application, and that's what it is doing. Let's wait a few seconds or minutes at least. Okay. As I was saying, here it is the Metro. This is like the engine that is working with the hot reload stuff underneath the application. And if I go to the emulator, in a few seconds, 28%, let's wait a little bit more, we are going to see the application. So what else can I say? Here at ERNI we are going to add more mobile starter kits probably in the next few months, like native Swift iOS application, native, I don't know, with Java and also with Kotlin Android applications. So there is a lot of stuff coming, but of course in the next months. And probably we'll do more Twitch sessions regarding these repositories. Let's see. Okay, now the application is already open. Metro is working because it's bundling the application, doing the hot reload, and that's here it comes. We have the React Native application working. I can go to the browse. I can see that here we have some descriptions and the language. But as you can see here, everything is a work in progress. We don't have a working right now starter kit, but we wanted to show it to you because it's very nice one. Okay, so maybe we can go to the next one. Live demos are already done. I'm seeing here in the chat that Malte has a question. Maybe we are going to answer them at the end of the session. If that's okay, we save this question and then we will go back if it's necessary, just to finish up the session. Okay, so let me change briefly the view to the presentation. Okay, let's go to the next one if it wants. Okay, so the idea here is to present that not only ERNIans collaborate in these projects. These are open source projects. They are open to everyone that uses GitHub, and we encourage these people or you to build up using GitHub. For that, we have this contributing guide that you can find in our main repository. Every repo has a link to it, so if you check any of our repos, you can see it. Then we are working like any other repository in GitHub. We have this issues tab there that you can add issues or add features or whatever of the options that we allow. So please be open to do that. If you want, I can quickly show you how, for example, the Ionic project, if I go back to here, the Ionic project has an open issue. We can see here that we have this open issue. This open issue is a feature request, add icon and splash screen. Also we have tags, as you can see here. So if you are new to the GitHub, it's a good idea to check for good first issues, because usually they are easy to fix or are easy to start with. If not, please enter your comment. We are going to help you go through all the process. But the idea is this: you get an issue, work through the issue, or add whatever you want, then do a pull request, and we work with the pull request. Okay. Then also we have bots that help us maintain all the code, as you can see here. But the idea is that we collaborate, because at the end, this is an open project. You can use it for your own projects, and we use them for every other project that we have. So, nice. Let's go out to the presentation. Okay, so maybe now it's time for the question and answer session. No, Robert? Okay.
Go ahead.
So let's go with the question about capacitors that Multi94 was saying. It is possible to somehow get rid of the white screen which appears for a short time right after the splash. I have also used capacitator and could never solve this. Good question. And yes, the thing is that in every capacitator version, the way to remove this white screen is changing. Or I will say that it changed. And the last two versions, it maintains the same way. The idea is to control the splash screen manually, so you need to implement a way to control when to show or when to hide the splash screen, and then listen for the readiness event that Ionic launches. So if you are listening for this readiness and you are manually controlling the splash screen, you can show it and hide it when you have the control and know when everything is built or ready to be shown, right? I don't know if this answers your question. That's a good question because I think that we are not doing this in the starter kit. Let me show it. Let me try to check if it's the case, because if not, maybe we can add an issue to add this in the future. So the idea, okay, I will show my screen. The idea is here in the main.tss. I think it's not the main TSS. No, it's not in the main TSS. Sorry, it's in the app.tss. So we need to go to the app. Okay, here we have the module and the component. Let's see if it's not the component. Okay, I don't remember right now currently if it's one or if it's another. But the thing is, I think it's in the app. We are not handling this right now in the starter kit application, but in your app component, you need to import the platform-specific service that Ionic provides. Ionic provides that it's a wrapper of the capacitator one, and then you need to listen for events. And if you are listening for events, you can, of course, know when everything is ready and start to show or to hide the splash screen. Good thing. I will do an issue for our starter kit because it is not implemented. So thank you, and thank you, Monty. Okay. What else? We have a couple of minutes of question and answers. I think the time is more or less good. We have 5 minutes probably, yes. Robert. So maybe if any of you have any more questions, we are more than happy to answer them. I don't know. So you were, for example, talking, Robert, about that Xamarin doesn't have by default the Mac Catalyst project.
No.
So that's a new feature that MAUI gives us.
Yeah.
So it's not only that we simplify the process of developing because we only have like one project, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Versus the other Xamarin. I will say cows. Okay, now I am allowed to say that. Xamarin as a cow, so we have like multiple projects in the Xamarin application, and in the MAUI we gain this speed of development with only one project. It makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So comparing to the Ionic and to the React Native, okay, we don't have this project file like in .NET projects, but
exactly.
In the end, everything is one, folder and project.
We
don't split everything regarding. So I'm happy that MAUI went with this approach. Right?
Clearly, Microsoft is going into that direction.
David is saying that the camera is not centered. Yeah, sorry. It's like, okay, let's maybe squash it together and let's go a little bit. Now, David. Now you can see both of us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I was saying that just preface that Microsoft is going into that direction. So I think they make a great change. So now the mobile development is, I think, much more closer than what we are going to doing day by day. So I really feel that I was really far from developing for mobile, but now with MAUI, I really feel that
you like it.
Yeah. I enjoyed this MAUI project. Yeah.
So you came to the dark side of the mobile.
Let's see.
The crazy world, because at the end you have like a lot of platforms with a lot of specific stuff, and not only that, you have a lot of operating systems, you know, because Android is not only one. You
Exactly.
have Android, but you have then the Samsung mobiles, the Xiaomi ones, I don't know. Every manufacturer is using whatever they want in the Android OS, and this is like crazy stuff. So welcome, and I really like that you are liking Maui and are enjoying.
Yeah, regarding Maui, I just wanted to mention that you have to think that it's a, I don't want to say new, but pretty new technology. So we have opened some issues to them also. So we are tracking them. We know that we have some issues on the application. And yeah, it's more or less what Axel mentioned. So we are tracking them, but not only on our repo, but on the Maui repo. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I think one of them was that at some time ago, the iOS build was not working.
Yeah.
So we open a ticket to the Maui official repository.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
triage it, and they help us to not help us, but they fix
Well,
it.
they solve the issue.
So that's
So
nice.
yeah, we need to take into account also this.
And that's what open source is about, right? It's
Yeah,
like collaborating not only for your company, but for the other companies as well.
Yeah.
Because in the end, what you are doing is going to help others.
Exactly.
And the other way around, what they are doing is going to help you.
Yeah, we want you to do the same with us. So yeah, please feel free to open issues to help us grow. This is a really, really powerful tool for us. So yeah, feel free to contact and do whatever you want.
Yeah. And we will be here responding every ticket, every pull request that you show. Also, you can send us like messages using GitHub. We are open to talk with you guys, and
suggestions if you want to see something else in particular, or you are missing some feature, because we understand like the starter kit with this kind of feature, but maybe you see one feature that would be really nice to have on a starter kit. So yeah, please feel free.
And last but not least, we are hiring, right?
Yeah,
always. We are always hiring. We are trying to find incredible people to work with. So please check out LinkedIn, check out the website. Which is the website? It's easy, I think, right? Yes, we have like the. Let's share with the chat, maybe the website.
Let me copy this.
Yes, copy it.
Paste it here.
Okay, better ask ERNI, and then we have the join.erni domain as well. Yeah, it's incredible. The first thing that when I joined ERNI is what they have their own custom domain. You know, it's like .erni. Yeah, really. So we have like this website that is join.erni, and you have there all the open positions that we are handling right now. And it redirects you to the website. So powerful. Okay. We have another comment here of Multi94. Read it out if you want, Robert.
Maybe OT. Maybe it's off topic, right? To Maui, do you have an opinion on .NET 6 and the way WebAssembly brings C# to the browser? Could this be the future and replace JavaScript or TypeScript?
Ooh, that's a complicated one, eh?
Yeah.
One thing that I mean, I want to be clear here is, it's not going to replace JavaScript or TypeScript, because it's like, I mean, it's how the web is built. It's complicated to eliminate this language or this technology. But for sure, we are going to see interesting things in the future regarding WebAssembly. Because it opens up, like, you know, a full range of new technologies that are touching the web. And right now, it was only JavaScript. Okay, only JavaScript, Silverlight, and the other ones that we don't say, like Flash. It was Flash. I don't think that's right. But you know, I think it's an open standard, and it's going to be great to have these powerful ways of building up applications for web. But it's not going to replace JavaScript.
No, I don't think so. Right? Yeah, I think that the more tools that you can choose, the more things that are improving, let's say. So, yeah. I don't think it's going to replace it neither, but I think that doing a great effort. So for sure, we are going to see more and more things developed on .NET 6 and all this stuff. So yeah.
Great question. And we are going probably in the future going to do a Twitch session regarding WebAssembly.
Let's see.
Let's see. Let's see. Okay. So I don't know if any of you have any more questions. We are on time to end the stream. So Robert.
A pleasure for me to be here.
Me too. Let's see next time what else we can present to our colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a good afternoon.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.